Hello. Hi, this is your professor, Dr. Louis Dwayne Laster, and welcome to what is going to be the third week, official week of class. Today is Saturday, January the 21st, 2012. Great to be back amongst you again. On the video issues of not being able to open up your videos, you being able to open up mine, part of what's going on there is that what you have to do sometimes with some of these is if the video does not open up automatically, you need to right-click on the link and do the option that says open in a new tab or open in a new window. And that would normally fixes it for me. I've enjoyed watching your videos, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get with the IT person to see how we can put those all on the discussion board so that you can all meet each other. If I did not receive a video, then I need to hear from you. Let me discuss a couple of classroom issues before I get started with a brief lecture on the 7 root causes of prejudice. You already have this PowerPoint, but I feel the need to discuss some of the things. So hold on just one moment. All right, so what I have before me then is the report that I get from Blackboard regarding your attendance and all the highlights. I'm not going to leave it up too long. I don't put anyone's business in the street, but the highlighted ones are the ones that I've not, if Blackboard is showing that you did not log in this week. Blackboard does log in according to the actual how you log into the materials that are under the course materials or course content portion. So it is showing that about a third of the class did not either log into the PowerPoint lecture or did not utilize the PDF that was on the defensive rationalizations of denial, victim blame, and avoidance. I'm going to let it slide this week. I'm not going to take any points or deduct there, but it will be imperative over the next few weeks, as well as the course of the semester, that you are logging in individually and that you are getting that done by the required time. Lecture will be posted, of course, again by 12 to 2 p.m. on Tuesdays, and then your assignment is due by Fridays at 5 p.m. I did receive most, though not all, and that was probably because not all of you accessed the material. Also, what I'm going to do, and sometimes I email attachments, but when I email you through my Mav with an attachment, unfortunately what happens is that you're not able to track that. So in order for it to be tracked in Blackboard, I have to load it into Blackboard, and then you have to then log into Blackboard to access it. So I will not be emailing you any more attachments unless they're like flyers, that type of thing. All official course materials will be uploaded through Blackboard. All right, so what I want to do today, I want to talk to you about the 7 root causes of prejudice. There are 7 root causes to prejudice, depending no matter what the type of prejudice is, be it gender, be it ethnicity, be it religious, be it social class. There are 7 root causes, and I want to discuss those briefly. One of the things that I discovered that I had so many problems with last week is that YouTube does not like for me or people to do videos that are over 10 minutes. So I will be mindful of time this week. Let me wet the whistle here. And we'll get started. If you'd like to follow along on your PowerPoint, that's fine. The first root cause of prejudice is authoritarianism. What this has to do is someone who grows up with an authoritarian household. This person provides instruction to a child in a way that is very strict. It's inflexible. It's very rigid. In this type of household, typically there's dichotomous thinking. Things are either black or white. There are no shades of gray. So as a result of that, this is the person who becomes what you might want to call closed-minded, or they have a myopic view of the world and of society. So they're raised in a household where it's either their way or the highway. This may come by way of a parent, a mentor, or some other authoritative figure in their life. The second root cause, this is going to be, it's difficult for some people, belief in one true religion. The belief that a particular religion is correct leads to a feeling of superiority and the condemnation of others who believe otherwise. There are some religions that believe that unless you believe in their specific religious belief, that the person is going to burn in hell. I'm not going to mention the name, but there is a certain religious belief where people witness to someone once, they witness to him again, and then the person refuses to accept the religious doctrine on the third time. They write their name down on a sheet of paper, they take a pen and they cross their name out, and it's called writing off. And what that is to signify is that the person's name is being written out of the what we call the Lamb's Book of Life. So that does happen, and it happens in more than one religion, so I'm not going to partition any particular religion out in that. The third cause is what is called competition and exploitation. And what's going on in America is that we have a competition over scarce resources. If you think then of the analogy of a pie, then what's happening is that due to the current economy, that pie is shrinking. The idea that competitive society leads conditions in which some groups perceive themselves to be superior, which then leads to the exploitation of inferior groups. One of the big issues that's going on currently with immigration is that immigration labor is being exploited. Some people also blame immigrants for the fact that there has been a reduction in jobs. The irrational fear of immigrants is called xenophobia, and we'll talk about that more in Chapter 4. The next is frustration, aggression. That's number 4. A process by which frustration and anger about a situation are directed at another person or group perceived as a scapegoat. For instance, for a long time, a lot of people blamed African Americans for the Civil War. So people thought about to their great grandparents and say, well, the reason they died is because they died in the Civil War fighting over the freedom of black people or those people. Number 5 is history, and this is the view that historical occurrences of oppression have consequences for the way in which members of an oppressed group are viewed. For example, African Americans might be viewed as inferior because of their past enslavement. What goes on here is a type of victim blame. People actually blame victims of various ethnicities or religious beliefs for situations that happen to them. A lot of people, for instance, have blamed Jews for the Holocaust, for not fighting to keep from going into gas chambers and that type of thing. And although we know that even if they had fought, or regardless of their mentality of thought or cognition at the time, it's what would have happened. The Germans just would have forced them into the gas chambers. But a lot of people believe that they could have done things differently to get out of that situation. Same thing with slavery. A lot of people have criticized and said that the reason why African Americans ended up getting caught and enslaved because all they were doing was sitting around over on the African shore eating bananas, kind of thing. So that's history. That's number 5. Number 6 is what's called projection. And projection is actually a Freudian defense mechanism. There results in one person's placing undesirable characteristics onto another. So what happens here, the person says that they are prejudiced because of things that are inherent in the individual population. So what they say is that the reason they don't like a certain group is because that group smells. The reason that they don't like a certain group is because that group cannot speak English well. That type of thing. So that's what we refer to as projection. So in order to perpetuate the prejudice, undesirable characteristics are thrust upon the group. And the last but not least is number 7, which is socialization, which is the process through which we learn to value some characteristics, ideas, and behavior more than others, leading to prejudice. Contrary to common belief, prejudice is a learned behavior. It does not happen incidentally or accidentally, although certain incidents may help to perpetuate that. One of the things that I want us to do in this class is have honest discussion. Well, all of us have received, we've all been educated. We talked about miseducation. We've all been informed. Some people say that people are uninformed. That's really not the case. We may have been misinformed regarding certain issues, and that's part of why we're taking this class here so we have knowledge and so that we have exposure to combat some of the current beliefs that are present. Well, I have this opportunity. I want to also teach you some terminology. As opposed to race, I ask that you use the term ethnicity. Race, unfortunately, has a very negative connotation that invokes certain negative images such as gas chambers and plantations. So please use ethnicity as opposed to race. Also, please do not use the term, if you can avoid it, Hispanic. Hispanic is a term that was created by the Census Bureau for the Census Bureau to then put into categories people that they did not really not want to address in terms of heritage. Please use the correct terminology in terms of Mexican American, Latino, Latina, Cubano, or Puerto Rican. There is no such country called Hispania, and calling someone Hispanic denies their unique ethnic identity. So that's it for now. I will get this posted to YouTube and send you the link. It should be that you should be able to go to course materials and it pop up, but I'm learning too. This is an experience for me as well. The greatest part of teaching is learning. And I will sign off for now and talk to you soon. I look forward to receiving your on-time assignments and see you soon. Bye-bye.